What's up, guys? We are back with another episode of Blonde Highlights. We're so excited to be here. Today, we are going to chat about everything with building a healthy relationship with social media. But first, Kyle and I are going to dive into some tea and some gossip. Kyle, what's going on?
Well, it's just been a busy, crazy, insane week, but we're here. I was gagging last night with seeing Sabrina Carpenter on the Brit Awards. I had to show you this morning. I just can't, but she pissed off the entire country of the UK.
Oh my God. Okay. So I love that everyone was shitting on her, saying that she's way too sexual. She needs to calm it down a bit. And then she went in with that performance. I love that.
And I had saw the controversy last night that she had pissed off the UK for being too sexual. But then I was trying to show Chris this morning the video, and the first thing that pops up was the dancers all with their legs spread wide open.
I was like, give it. Honestly, that performance was wild. When she walked in with all of the soldiers, or what are they called?
The King's Guards.
The King's Guards coming in like that. I was like, yes, she is. And she had a little extra attitude. She had an extra pep in her step. I thought the whole thing was, I thought it was great. And I thought it was a good way for her to be nobody's going to tell me not to be sexual. This is me. This is who I am.
No, exactly. Her walking in was so freaking cute. She's so, she's short. The hair was bigger than she is.
I love it. I actually pissed off a British person this morning.
Why? How'd you do that?
So today I had to go run one of the events that we were doing. So it was kind of like a concession stand. And Michael was laughing so hard at me today because he was watching you do this was like watching an episode of Simple Life, because I can do all the events. I can plate in the kitchen. I can be an event coordinator. I can do multiple things. Okay. But get me to take an order and give money and take money. I just something in my brain just cannot work. I can't do fast math, fast, simple math. I can't do anything. I'm making somebody's coffee. I gave them 3 cups. I gave somebody $5 extra. It's just not where I thrive. And then I also just get a little too comfortable with the customers. So this man came up and clearly he had a British accent, and he's like, I just want a water bottle. And I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, where are you from? Just whatever. So then I thought I built this fun rapport with him. So when he came up again for a water bottle, he's like, oh, I'll have a water bottle. And I was like, water bottle. And he just looked at me. He's like, yeah, a water bottle. And I was like, Michael, you're such a loser. I was so embarrassed, but I was I could tell, I offended him. I was just water bottle.
You really did offend him, eh?
I offended him. But oh my gosh, yeah, it was definitely an interesting morning. I made French fries, or I made one thing, and I had to make things for sandwiches tomorrow, and I was I don't want to get my sweater dirty, so I put on a chef jacket, and I was makes one French fry because he's the chef, she's the chef. Michael and I were dying. We're what am I doing in this stupid jacket? Clearly I don't deserve to be wearing it. It was so funny.
I'm glad you had that all going in this morning. I rolled out of bed like a gremlin, and I went to 7-Eleven to get an energy drink because I was I need to get going. And I witnessed a 5K race taking off in front of me, and I was just oh
Yeah.
my God, no.
There is nothing worse than when you go out as a hobgoblin, house gremlin, and you're just I need energy drink, and then you have to stop to let a marathon go by. Absolutely not. That is probably the most humbling experience.
It literally was.
That's not okay.
I was this is not okay. And I don't know what it is, maybe because because the day we're filming this, it's the Oscars today, and the area where we film in is where everything's happening, and so it's just so much going on today, so much like roads are closed, everything. Tonight it'll be wild with like all the parties and all the paparazzi everywhere like lining up. It's always like fun on Oscars day when there's a lot going on.
Are you gonna go and try to stalk the
No, I'm
celebrities?
gonna be in my house.
I think there's something so much fun about that. I did that at TIP one year, like 10 years ago. I saw quite a few celebrities, but I just think it's so much fun. Like if I was out of like an out of towner and I was visiting and that was going on, I'd be like, let's go. Let's see who we could see. Like I'm not cool. Like
No, that'd be fun.
I love a tourist.
That'd be fun. I mean,
I love a tourist.
yeah, I like a tour bus moment sometimes.
Being a tacky tourist is fun. It really is.
Yeah. I will say, like, during like when it is the Oscars night, like it's a good time just to like stop by the pharmacy or stop by places because like it'll be like celebrities are like leaving the Oscars and headed to the after party, and you know they need a stick of gum. So the limo just pulls up to 7-Eleven. The limo pulls up to CVS. They run in, grab their gum, do whatever, and they're like in their like Oscars gown, and you're like, oh hi.
Hi. You know what podcast I listened to yesterday? I listened to Call Her Daddy episode with Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, okay. So you're going to start listening to our biggest competition? Okay.
We're only one behind her in the rankings, so I think it's good for like research. And plus, I mean, like she pulled on Monica Lewinsky. Like that is so iconic. And I remember this scandal from when I was like a young child, like every millennial, and hearing her speak about her experience and everything that happened was so eye-opening. And I guess like growing up, we weren't used to people calling out a double standard. Like we grew up in a time where it was like in any of this situation, like she's the homewrecker, she's the this was her fault. It was whatever. And Monica Lewinsky was actually saying, she's like, it was actually the younger generation where in about 2014, everybody started pointing out and being like, there's a massive power dynamic. There's the age gap between them because she was only 22 years old when she started. And the fact that she was an intern and he was the president of the United States. So back then, none of that was recognized. None of that was considered. She was thrown under the bus. She wasn't able to get a job. Like it affected her whole entire life. And he just continued to be the president of the United States. Like nothing.
Yeah. I mean, they did try to impeach him, but it was like, not in my house. Let me tell you, in my household, we were all on Team Monica. She was a young girl and obviously the wild power dynamic. And also, I was like going to school like the next day and being like, so what? The president got his dick sucked. Like, I was like, so what? I was like, the national deficit is down. Who cares?
I don't know. I just think that it's really eye-opening to see the difference of how it was handled then and how it would have been handled if it happened today. And I just feel so bad that this poor girl, I mean, like you see pictures of her and everything at that age, and she's just like young and bubbly and cute and just having a good time. Like girls just want to have fun. Like she's just, like she made a mistake and she knows it, but like none of this should have been the way that it turned out for her. And I think it's really sad. And I think it's really cool because now she has a whole podcast speaking about rebuilding your whole life and taking those steps to just like move forward. So I'm really excited to listen to that. I think it'll be good. And maybe she'll want to come on our show.
Yeah, I think so. I've always liked Monica Lewinsky, and I'm glad that she like speaks out more and we've, heard more from her. But I am also kind of like, where is she? Like, what does she do? For the most part.
I think she took some time off because she wasn't able to get a job for the longest time.
Yeah, which is crazy. That is crazy. And now it's like, that would be nothing. Like, what?
Right?
Like,
and like shame on the girl that was recording her. Like, I forget what her name is, but like shame on her. Like nowadays, like everyone's a girl's girl.
It's such a funny thing because it's like America's like biggest lore for like the thing. But I was always just like, you know what? Like, people have affairs all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, but now it is like looking at it from this perspective of the workplace kind of power dynamic is a different thing than just the part. I think back then it was even people that were like, were mostly like, this is just an affair. This is a personal life thing. This is not a work thing. This is a, but it really is that it really showcases like of how these kind of power dynamics happen in the workplace. Do you know what I mean? Like if this is happening with the president of the United States, this is happening with CEOs. This is happening to girls in internships. This is happening to so many other things. So,
and it's frustrating because it's always the woman that is the one that loses that.
Exactly.
Like it's always the woman, like the CEO's not going to get fired.
Exactly.
He's going to get a tap on the wrist and the girl's going to get fired. And then that's it.
And then we're just like, that whore.
Yeah. Like, ew.
Close your legs.
I'm so happy that we're so forward thinking now.
Like, close your legs to married men.
Oh my God. It's like, what does she owe? Like, she's not the one in a relationship. Shame on him. He's the one that stepped out of his marriage. Like, that's my view on cheating. Like, if Michael were to cheat on me and it was with it, like, that woman doesn't owe me anything. Like, unless she's like my best friend and whatever. But like, do you know what I mean? It's like Michael's the one that owes me the loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, like, if I wouldn't go and try to attack the other woman or like come down on the other woman. It's Michael who, like, no,
unless
you're the one that owed me a commitment.
Exactly. Unless she's Alabama Barker.
I cannot. I can't. It's getting out of hand. I have no business being this involved. Seriously, I have no business. You took me down that rabbit hole last week and like.
Same. It's funny because I'm like, oh God, we could be like her teen parents. But it's like we have no business being this much involved. But it is like, oh my God, it's so captivating and crazy. And then I saw, obviously we've seen the music video and like where like it looks like she's like twerking on like a version of Alabama's Dad and the video and stuff. And then you've just been singing the lyrics nonstop. But
oh my God, I can't. The whole back to back to back. I'm like, for someone who enjoys ASMR, it does something to me. It does something to me when she goes to the camera and she's back to back to back. And I'm just like, I could listen to that on repeat all day. And it is like, I was thinking in the kitchen, I was like, I had to explain to Michael and our other chef, like, what the tea is. Because they were like, why do you keep saying, damn, Alabama? That's land, Alabama.
He's like, what is going on with her in the state of Alabama? Is she just really into like that state?
Oh my God. So funny. It is catchy. I'll give her that.
No, it's okay. So Alabama posted a short clip of her lip singing to a song about snatching someone's man. And it was like a little country song that some girl sang. And it was funny because she deleted it very quickly. But the girl, the singer, the actual singer of that song saw the notification and screen grabbed it. And so after Alabama deleted it, the singer posted the screen grab of Alabama singing her song about stealing someone's man.
So she's right in on it.
Yes.
She's a little shit to stir. She's stirring that damn pot.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
And then it's just
like she's not getting away on this
exactly.
one.
And I just find it funny because it's like the whole thing everyone's saying is that in the household, the like Kourtney Kardashian, Travis Barker household, you have Alabama in one room, probably just like crying and screaming because the whole world is singing a song about, damn, Alabama, you a tramp. And then she's just like, being eaten alive by Bad Baby and the Catch Me Outside girl. And then her brother is down the room and he is posting repeated videos of him lip singing the songs, this one song from The Fray.
I know. Yes. Lost and insecure.
Don't sing it too much though.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's crazy because I'm laughing so hard at just picturing like them in the mansion. It's just like that song just like on repeat down the one hallway, and then the end of the hallway is
Oh my God. I honestly, I love that he's just using this time to do that. I think that is so funny. He is so cute.
mm-hmm.
He's like beautiful. But I don't know. I hope these girls collaborate because that would be fun. I hope that they're secretly in on it because like right now, like when that track comes out or came out, like the whole world's listening to it. You're right. It's a catchy tune, right? But it's like I feel kind of bad for her too because I'm like, this is like it's just bullying, and it's just
really is.
she's so young. That's
It
it.
really is. Okay, so I'm gonna get into my highlights and my lowlights right now. Okay. So I want to say my highlight, my gratitude for the week is I just want to say this. First of all, pop music is fully back. Like we're in full recession pop. Like everything is so good. Like Tate McRae, I love her now. Like I'm just like this girl is dancing. She is singing about sports cars in a whisper voice. Like it is really pumping. It is good. She was doing chair dancing on SNL. Sabrina, she pissed off the whole UK in a performance. And it's just like all the pop girls are really popping. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like I'm like, this is the best. The best. Like whenever like everything goes to shit, like pop music just like takes off.
I love it. And I think like there's such a creativity happening with the girls right now. Like I saw the SNL performance as you showed me. And like the way that she's dancing with the chairs is so cool.
It really is, right?
Like it's such an art. Like it's an art form. It's so cool. I just think it's and I think like even Sabrina when they were doing that leg opening and closing dance to the beat, I was like, this is amazing. This is so creative.
It really is. And I just feel like, I mean, in general, like music seems really fun right now. Like we're having a lot of fun. We're having escapism through the music. And that's just like hella fun.
The pop girlies are coming out for it. They're like, we got you. We're going to give you some happy times right now.
No, exactly.
And they're doing it. All right. So what's your low light?
Okay. So my low light is I feel like, okay, me and Chris have this running joke about my trips to the hospital or trips to the doctor's office because they're always packed with the drama. Like I bring full drama at the doctor's office. And I like last time I was there a few weeks ago, like I like fainted. And she's like, I'm so jealous that you get to like faint at the doctor's office and get all this attention. And they bring you like cranberry juice and snacks.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I've always wanted to faint, especially in school. Second of all, the doctor's is so boring. Like it's just so mundane. Like shake it up a bit. Get some free juice. Like that sounds exciting. Like I hear that and I'm like, there's drama, there's a rush, things are happening. The juices are flowing. Like
the rush is the blood like rolling from my head or something. I don't know. And so I'm texting her while I'm in the doctor's office, and I'm like, okay, well, everything's going well so far. And I was like, well, they have to take my blood. I was like, the nurse made me lay all the way down because they were like, we can't. This bitch cannot go down on top of us again. So I'm telling her, I'm like, I laid down. No, nothing dramatic happened. It was so freaking chill. Like for once, without all the drama, like held off. The next morning, I get up to go to work. I look at my arm where they took that blood. I literally look like I've just been jabbing myself with heroin in the arm. Like, it is bruised.
She showed me this morning.
It is bruised so bad. And there's like marks everywhere. Like, it literally looked like a drug addict. So I had to wear like make sure I had long sleeves on so like people aren't concerned. And I'm like, it is always something. Always.
It actually, like when she showed me today, it actually looked like you've been like attacked by a dog or something. Like you were bit there. Like it's a mess. But again, she was texting me. She's like, oh, I'm at the doctor's. I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so bored right now. Like, I wish I could faint. Like, I just want to faint. Just so elegant. And just like, there's just something so like, about it, you know? Like, that's how I picture myself fainted. Like, it's just like a pretty drama moment.
Oh my God. No, it is. You'll have your moment, Chris. You'll get your
looking like a little addict now.
You'll get your moment.
Yeah. Okay, so my highlight is there's a new show on Netflix called Cassandra. Cassandra. So first of all, whenever there's like a voiceover in a TV show, I normally can't watch it because it just like drives me nuts. And this is a German TV show, but they do like an English voiceover, and you can't really tell. Like it's not. It doesn't bother me. This show, it's about like a smart robot in your house.
Oh.
And it was so good watching it because it's so different than anything that's on TV right now. And it was so twisted and fucked up. I loved it. I made Michael watch all of it with me. I finished it last night. It was amazing. But the dad in the show, like the husband, worst husband. Like anything that he did was just like the opposite of what you would want your husband to do, like any type of partner to do. So that brought like a whole element to me that like I was able to just like point out things to Michael as we were watching. Like, you see that? Like, don't ever do that, or don't ever do this, or like we were both like shocked. But it's called Cassandra. You should check it out. It's actually really cool.
It's fun.
And then
when I was in college, I like my best friend was a drag queen. Her name was Cassandra Terrace. Like Terrace.
Cassandra
the Terrace.
Terrace. Oh my God, I love it. My low light is last night for watching it. Like we're having like a little like TV night, and I decided to Uber in ice cream bars.
Okay.
Just from Walmart. And so I got them from Walmart because I needed Lactaid. So I was so excited about these like Barbie cotton candy ice cream bars that were coming to the house. And they were delivered, but when I opened my door, they weren't there. So I don't know where they ended up, but whoever got my order literally got 2 different ice cream bars and Lactaid just sent to their door. And I was like, I was devastated. Like all of a sudden it was like, your order's complete. It's not at my door. And then I'm trying to message Uber to be like, hey, it never came. And it started taking me one of those like customer service vicious cycle.
No.
I'm not even going to talk about it because nobody wants to go down that track.
No.
But like, I'll tell you right now, like I wanted to fucking cry last night. I was like, first of all, my fat ass ordered ice cream bars to my door. They're missing. Now I can't even get a refund. I was like, I went to bed. I was like, I can't. I'm going to bed.
No one came by to snatch their ice cream bars.
Someone got them, and like, I know that it must be on my street, and they were just like, fuck it. This is awesome.
With moose?
Like ice cream and Lactaid.
No.
So if you have a lactose problem,
you're covered.
Like I want you.
One time I ordered like a buffet of shit from 7-Eleven. Like I'm talking, I went full crazy. Like I ordered a buffet from 7-Eleven. Like so many snacks, drinks, candies, pizzas. Like it was a mess. It was like mess to the point where this is like get delivered at the door. I'm not going to answer the door. You leave it on the ground. I don't want to make eye contact. Okay. I get that back. I go open my door to get my stuff, and it was a little kale Caesar salad.
Fuck
yeah. Oh yeah. So then I went through the whole process of figuring out like to get my money back or figure out what happened and whatever. And they said that the orders got mixed up with another person's. So can you imagine the person who ordered this little organic little kale Caesar salad and they got a buffet from 7-Eleven?
Oh my God. They were probably like, their inner just like binge eater probably just like came out. They saw, they're like, God, set this to me.
I'm God.
Like, just like all out the window. That's what would happen to me. I'd be like, well, I guess I have to eat it. It's here.
God's plan.
God's plan, Alabama. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get into our social media aspect of our episode.
Yeah. And I think that like, okay, what did I say? Last week we did an episode on like communications. And like I think it was a very helpful and informative, because we're a world-run podcast, okay? And I think we informed the world on like proper communication styles or whatever. And we obviously did it in the most cohesive, complete, way possible. And I don't know, maybe it just wasn't that authentic to us.
And no, like, we are not college professors. We're not psychologists. Like, this was the worst episode I think that we've ever done. And like but it's also the best episode because I think that it was one of those things that like you and I just like couldn't take it seriously, and we were just laughing throughout the whole thing. Like, and then when I went back and I listened to some of it, I was like, what were we doing? Like, neither of us even wanted to talk about it. So, I mean, I think we just have to be a little bit more
on brand,
in tune and on brand. But there's still a lot to learn from that episode.
There really is. There's a lot to learn from that. And I was just like, I don't know, maybe they'll play it at Harvard, or I don't know what will happen with that. But
I mean, it got like 100,000 downloads.
Exactly. I think that we should maybe post the unedited, just raw footage, because half of it is us just like cracking up and being a mess.
I love it though. It's fun.
But no, I think that like having a healthy relationship with social media is so on brand for us, because it is something like, if we're going through this, like, kind of like, I don't want to say like addiction to social media, but we're kind of like struggling with having a good relationship with it, like everyone else is too. And so I think that maybe it's good to talk about our experiences, things that we've learned, and right?
For sure. And I think like part of the reason why this came up is because lately I've just deleted TikTok. I've deleted it 2 days ago. I never had TikTok until we started our podcast. And I found that over the past few months, I think because it's so cold here, there's not a whole lot I can do outside. I don't want to leave my house. I have been like addicted to TikTok, because it's one of those things where it's like you think of anything and you can go online and you can just go and see like video after video about it, and then just get stuck down these rabbit holes. And I feel like it took me to a place where it was just like I was like frozen in time with my TikTok. So I had to delete it. And since I've deleted it, honestly, just over like, it's only been 2 days, the amount of shit I've done around my house, the amount of things that I've been procrastinating, putting off since my little like addiction spurt happened is unreal. My mood feels better. I feel like when I'm waking up, I'm more refreshed. And that's only just like 2 days. Now, I'm not saying like everybody delete TikTok, whatever. But for me, like, I just definitely needed a break because it took me in and it got me.
Yeah, and I've been struggling with that too lately. I've been, trying to like limit it. I've been trying to, because I just feel like I get sucked in, and then I'm up way too late at night, and then I'm tired the next day because I've just been scrolling all night, and it hasn't been exactly like healthy. And I'm just like, I need a better balance with it right now. And so I'm trying to limit back a little bit, but there's a lot of positives to social media as well, so it's not like it's not all bad. And I definitely think that like when it comes to TikTok too, I really feel like I've just really found like my tribe of people, and even with the trans community, it's such a great place because we are such a small population that it is, maybe because I live in the city of West Hollywood, the like queerest place on earth, that I do come across trans people in person. But for the most part, like, we're not just like that common around town and normal places. And so it is a really great place to be able to go and find, your community and find people that have things in common with you. And I feel like I have friends from all over the world on there that I communicate with. And so I really have like a really soft spot in my like heart for TikTok, but like all social media for that reasons. And obviously, like, being a hairstylist in 2024, down back to 2016, you cannot just be a hairstylist. You have to be a content creator, hairstylist, if you want to have business.
Yeah.
And so I rely fully for my career on social media, and I built my whole career on social media. And now it's like, we do this podcast and we use social media to build our podcasts and things. So there is so much like good things. And I think that like we definitely learn a lot from social media.
Okay. No, I agree. I think that there's definitely like a lot of perks to social media, especially when you're building a brand, especially when you're in certain types of industries. Like as a model, like the first thing that a client's going to do when they go on to me, or if there's any interest, they're going to go first thing to Instagram, mostly to Instagram because there's a lot of still images. So I feel like for me, it's important to build my brand, which is always all over the place, but it's important for me to be putting myself out there and, make content. And so I think it's good, like what you say about the learning thing, like I've learned so much on TikTok just about certain things. Like I just learned about maladaptive daydreaming, which is like a whole other thing that I could spend hours talking about because I didn't realize that there's a name for like all the weird shit that goes on in my head. You know what I mean? And like you can go on these rabbit holes and learn so much about something that you didn't know was an actual thing. So like I think that even just like the levels and the different intricates of learning that you can do, especially on TikTok, because you're getting so many different unique perspectives as well, I think is really cool, as well as learning things like if you're like a crime junkie like me, all the different things like, and social media has been huge. Like even watching like the Gabby Petito documentary, that's what was social media is basically what led the police to be able to find her. Do you know what I mean? So like her body, but so there's so many things and like just in the way of connection and learning and, people coming together to help one another. And then of course, just comedy.
Oh yeah.
Like we all just want to have a good life.
Exactly. The comedy is so good. And the creativity to some of the comedy, the creativity of everything is just, amazing. I do feel though, like, okay, I like feel like because I feel like the addiction part of it comes like, and I hate to even be like, oh, it's an addiction thing. Because I guess for some people it could be, for other people it's not. But I'm just saying like, it is something about the dopamine receptor. Do you know what I mean? Like we are scrolling, searching for that dopamine hit of that our body like being rewarded in some way. And so we just scroll and scroll and scroll and waiting for something exciting to happen, something happy to happen so that we get that like dopamine switch. And so that's kind of the like addiction side to it a little bit.
Yeah. And I found too, like sometimes like when I'm scrolling like that, there's so many moments in my head that I'm like, oh my God, why am I even on here? Like there's nothing good. I don't want to be doing it, but like I literally can't stop.
No,
I literally can't stop. And I think for me, as someone who has an addictive personality, I think it's just not being able to stop until I get that dopamine hit.
No, exactly.
And then I'm like, okay, now I can.
Yeah. And you know how I know that there is something to that is like if I wake up in the morning and I'm like really groggy and I'm really struggling to be awake, if I scroll TikTok for a couple of minutes, I'm wide awake, like wired. And I think that's the thing about TikTok is that it is a bit of like information overload. And
my brain hurts sometimes after TikTok.
No, literally. And it's just like this constant stream of, communication, constant stream of other things happening. And it just like, it can overwhelm you like cognitively. And I actually, okay, so I've always had a lot of sleep problems. And I saw this doctor and he was telling me, he's like, do you scroll TikTok a lot? And I was like, duh, yeah. And he was saying that some of my fatigue that I have could be caused by the information overload from the social media and like the constant swiping, and that it like your brain is processing so many images, so much information, so many things at once that it's making your brain work in overdrive, and it will actually like mentally exhaust you from the overwhelm of it all.
And I also think to add to that, I think too, depending on what you're consuming, like you don't even know how it could be affecting you mentally in terms of your mental health. So like not only is your brain working super overtime, like how you're saying, but especially if it's like something negative as well. And it's like, it's actually making you feel down on yourself. So not only are you feeling down on yourself, but then it's like so much overtime as well. So you're just kind of like completely burnt out from it. Like I know for me, just like on any social media, one of the things that I've had to really learn is just like, I can't compare myself to other accounts. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to go on, and it's so easy to, especially when you're having a shitty day or feeling terrible about yourself, but to log on and just see somebody who's just like completely brightened up and is living out the perfect life and is maybe doing the things that you want to do, but you can't bring yourself to do it. That for me is so frustrating. And it completely just burns out my light. Like it'll tear me down. I could be having the best day, and if there's something that like can trigger me like that, it will just tear me down. And automatically anything that I've done that I feel proud about, say about my social media or say about work, just it becomes not meaningless, but it kind of just like puts out that light.
No, exactly. There's so much comparison and that happens with people, and that's a really problem. And I think that's with like all social media too. And I really think it was back in our Instagram days was at an all-time high, because it really was that airbrush perfect images of a perfect life, and we didn't really hear them much. We didn't really like know much about these people. We just saw perfect images.
Well, and I think it's interesting too, because there's a lot of documentaries that are coming out right now, like I just lost the name, but the 8 passengers. So they were a YouTube family, and the mom's now in jail, but the daughter's now coming out and speaking and being like, we put on this whole persona of like your most perfect family, but this is what was going on behind the scenes. And she really took us, like, I listened to her audiobook, and it was, as much as that like, okay, nobody's life is really that perfect, and like, this is content creation. I actually have been seeing other content creators who will show the behind the scenes of them even just doing like a crumble review. And they take us through like how much of like a shit show it is, but that at the end, it just looks completely perfect. So we're comparing ourselves to like the end result, which isn't natural. It's all formulated and cut and pieced and put together, right?
The one other thing too is like sometimes it can be very toxic interactions with people. Like I'm a comment warrior. Like I go to battle in those comment sections.
I know.
Whether it is me responding to hate comments, and whether like you look like this or whatever. And again, it's some like creepy old man that has no leg to stand on.
Oh my God.
But I do, especially too, like politically, you can get in those comment sections in the political, and then it's like, no, you're a terrible person. And it's just like going back and forth, and it's just like that negativity of you're just like fighting in the comments. You're fighting with a bully online about yourself. You're fighting about this, and it just like interacting with other like very negative people. You are just feeding into their negativity because they're miserable, and it's bringing you down with them.
Yeah, like there's times where I go online and I see a post, and instantly I'm like, I rush to the comment section, because I'm like, I know it's going to be a shit show. Right? Like, by the post, you're like, okay, this is going to be so entertaining just to read the comments. I don't really interact. Like, I'll post something if it's funny or it's something that's like really positive in that sense. I'll say something, but I won't go and like open up that can of worms to deal with like internet people like on a negative time, like, because for me it's just like it's so draining. But the comment section sometimes.
Oh yeah, I will sprint to that comment section to see sometimes. Oh my God, have you ever had like comments go viral? Like you leave a comment on someone's video and then your comment gets like 37,000 likes.
I've had it where it gets like a couple thousand likes, but I haven't had 37,000. Why did you have a viral
I've had
moment?
So many viral comments moments. I will sometimes sit down and take 30 minutes to craft a well-formulated comment.
Stop
and
it. Can we have an episode where we just review those comments?
I would have to find them. I don't know how I find a list of my most viral comments, but I have had some very, very viral comments. Like there's some of them that I know were like well over 100,000 like likes on it. Yeah. Yes. I've just like hit at the right moment. I've said the right thing, the right whatever. It's like, oh my God, that is some satisfaction though, because then I'm like, okay, well, that's a good side. But there is,
You're like,
yeah,
I know what I said was right.
exactly. And why do I keep saying exactly? And then now that you've been off of TikTok this week, are you like having FOMO? Are you like fear of missing out?
No, I don't have fear of missing out on I found actually it was interesting today. I was looking at this new hair product that I'm using. I'm using a hair gloss. And I was like, oh, I want to know like something about it. So I instantly was like, oh, I can just go to TikTok and like I can find out anything on there. So that is where I was kind of like, oh shit, I can't do that. But I get FOMO with social media in the sense of like if I not so much anymore because like I don't really care for these things as much. So I would say that that's the way that I would experience FOMO on social media, but not so much from not being on it.
Okay, yeah, because you can't look things up. That would be hard. I do think the one thing about like getting so involved into the social media world and just like you can easily kind of like it can be a distraction from your real life. Do you know what I mean? Like you can start to live like a digital life almost, and you like aren't having like real human experiences in real life. You're like losing connection with friends, you're losing connections with family. And so I think that's something that can come with like having an unhealthy relationship with social media.
I agree with that. I feel like there's, especially when you're having, so much communication with other people and you're able to relate to other people. Like this is my fear with the whole virtual reality world that is becoming more of a thing. And I think that it's true that you can just lose like your genuine connection. Like these past couple of weeks, I've probably spent more time online on my social media than I have connecting with my friends. I have like reaching out with my friends. Like I feel like it's kind of pulled and taken me away, which has like affected my actual real life connections with people.
No, exactly. Yeah, because you're just not reaching out because you're so busy. Like when you don't respond to my text messages, but then I see you sending me like links to videos.
Exactly, because I was like, I'm not even seeing the messages coming in. Like I see the names and I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, I'm so like, oh, I'll send her this, I'll send her that. Like again, like the past couple of weeks, like TikTok really just like took over my whole being. And I think I truly think because I'm already in a state of like this weird like seasonal depression. Like I said, I can't really go outside. It's -20 today. So it's like freezing. And I think because I'm so cooped up, it's like that's sort of my outlet. Like that's my escape. That's my form of connection. But it's affecting my real life so much that it's like it's becoming unhealthy for me. So I have to cut it off.
Exactly. But there is
Exactly. That's
exactly.
the word of the day.
I
for you,
know,
by
I
the
know.
way.
And when I
Exactly.
edit, I'm like, stop it, Kyle. Stop saying exactly, exactly. Because they say it twice in a row. It's like a weird thing. I don't know.
I've never noticed it until this. Exactly.
I just got distracted.
Never noticed it. It's like my oh my God that I say sometimes when I don't know what else to say. I just be like, oh my God.
Yeah, you just
They could be our catchphrases. We should do t-shirts where it's like exactly, and oh my God.
so original.
See what we did? We took something and we just turned it into a positive
Exactly.
and a profit.
No, exactly. Okay. So there definitely is like a mental health like impact to all of that. Wouldn't you say?
For sure. I think then there's a mental health aspect in consuming social media, like the way that you consume it can affect your mental health. But I think that also if you're producing and creating content, I think that that's an aspect that doesn't really get touched on a lot because there's a whole mental health aspect with that. Like I know for myself that as somebody who will put out a reel or do a reel, it can be draining on my mental health because I'm like, I worked like 6 hours on, say, one project that I put out, whatever. And all of a sudden I could have like 20,000 views. And like, for me, like, that's not bad. But then I'll have like 3 fucking comments. And I'm like, well, how does that add up? Like, how does this work? Or are people going to think I look stupid? Like, all these other people get like so much more engagement than me. Why am I even putting stuff out? People just clearly don't give a shit. Like, that's where my mind goes, and that's how it affects me, because it really discourages me to the point where then I just like step away from it and I'm like, I'm done. But it's like, I can't be done, because it's like, it's a source of income for me, as well as like it's self promotion, you know? So it's like, social media has affected my mental health immensely on the content creation.
Yeah, I get that. I'm always like checking the views, searching for that validation. Like if I say something on there, like I want people to like back it up and comment and be like, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But there also is like when you're posting too, like there is that fear of judgment. You're very like, oh, I'm gonna put this out there. And I'm always like, oh, my aunt's gonna see this, or someone's gonna see this. What are they gonna say? What are they gonna think? I overthink everything.
For me, I'm never afraid. And this is the weird thing, okay, for me, is that I'm never afraid of people judging me for what I'm saying or doing, or if I'm dancing around stupid. Like, I don't care. Like, if you don't want to watch that, don't watch that. If you want to make fun of me, make fun of me. Like, sometimes I'm pretty laughable. For me, it's the result that I fear I'm being judged on. For me, it's like when I only have like 20 comments or 7 comments, that's what I'm like, oh my God, people are going to laugh at me. That's what it is. Like, I'm not getting like crazy results. Like, clearly, do you know what I mean? I don't know why that, because like, I don't care about what I'm putting out. Do you know what I mean? It's like a weird thing. It's like, I'm scared for people to see like maybe the lack of success that I've had. Like, maybe there's something like deeper with that. I don't know.
That could be a big one. Yeah, I could see where it's like that lack of success kind of thing. Like, I think you have plenty of success, but sometimes it does. You do care about like what other people think. Is it like coming off to other people as it looks this way, or how is it coming off to them?
It's discouraging, and I mean, I've been, professionally posting on a professional page for like almost 10 years, or over 10 years now, and it's like, I wish that we could post things and have them out there and hide. Like, I used to hide all of my likes and everything, and I hide the likes and hide the views. I truly wish that. I wish that that is something. I feel like if that would happen, I feel like I would feel more excited to post on there.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? Where some people love, like, they post all this shit and they're like, oh my God, I got this, this, and this. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I hide other people's likes. I don't want to see what you're getting.
Yeah, and it's so easy.
Because to me, it's not really about that.
Yeah, it's so easy to get burnt out with all of that.
Uh-huh.
But let's get into some like ways of like building the healthier relationship. We've talked about like just like a lot. We've just been trashing her. We've just been tearing her down.
Listen, it's done a lot to us. I mean, like, here's the thing is that I think that there are so many ways that you can build a healthy relationship. And I think that recognizing when you need to fix your relationship, or recognizing like when you need to step away, I think that is a huge thing. And just being self-aware of like how everything is affecting you, I think it's going to be your biggest component.
Yeah, and I think what the biggest thing is too is limit like the overload with it. Like set some time boundaries. Like maybe set your sleep timer on your phone. That's like time to go to sleep, so you're not scrolling all night. Or I have mine set to like shut off at 2 hours. I immediately hit ignore over and over again. But I do set a timer so that I'm not scrolling. Yeah, exactly. Another big one, and I've always done this, is disable the notifications.
Me too.
Because it's too much. Like, I can't handle all those flashes and all the things. Like, this person liked it, this person liked it. God forbid the Facebook text messages and emails and whatever else that I get. Like, that's out of control.
No. And not only that, like, it's such a distraction as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like, there's like that thing where it's like, okay, like you see things coming in and you see, and okay, you want to know and you want to keep up with it, but it's like, it's fully distracting. Like, is that what you're meaning by it being annoying, or because it's like distracting you, or is it just like the sound of it that you get annoying?
Well, no, the sound, I never have a sound on my phone, but it is just like that constant banner flashing. Because what happens is then I start to miss out on like text messages. I miss out on everything else because it's just so many things popping up because I'm just so popular and there's so many notifications happening at once. And it's gay. I'm like Britney Spears. Lindsay Lohan and rumors.
I don't even have like text message notifications on for a lot of the time because I'm like, I control my phone. Like I don't need to know all the time. Like I'll look at it when I get to it.
Exactly, that's me too. And I also think it's important to have that social life outside of social media. You still need to hold on to those real life connections and, have some hobbies that are not about just social media and have a life outside of that because it's not everything.
And I think like nurturing your real life connections and like building like, I always say community, but that's what it is around you. Like, even for you to go to the garden, like there's people that are in that garden community that, you can get along with, that you can do whatever with, and that's healthy for you. Right. So I think it's like you can find community in everything that you do, even if it's just going to get your nails done and maybe you bring a friend with you and talking to the people there. And you know what I mean? Like, I think it's healthy, and I think it's healthy to control what you're consuming. Like, set your preferences. Be mindful of what you're watching. Be mindful of what's triggering you when you're watching it. Like, you might have to mute some people. Like, if there's someone that like you really want to support and you do support, and like, they might post something and you're just like, maybe it's upsetting you because your own personal things. I've had to do this. Maybe you're not working as much. And, if you're a freelancer and you're seeing somebody who's working all the time, that can be triggering. It's okay to mute that person. Do you know what I mean? Like, just mute them. You can still support them by following them, but you don't have to see them all the time. And it's not personal. So many people have muted me. Like, you can tell who stopped watching your shit. It's fine. I don't take it personally. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fine.
Yeah, and I always say with people, well, one, on like TikTok videos, you can click on it and say like not interested in this. But also, if something is like, I will go in and clean my feed. And so like basically sometimes my feed will go to like a dark place. And I will, anything I see that's like, that I don't want to be there, or anything that's a little negative, I start swiping really fast on it. Like I watch like 1 second, I'm like, swipe. 1 second, swipe. And then I will sit and watch things that I do want to see. And so you can almost retrain your algorithm to pull you out of that dark hole, because it will lead you down into the dark hole always. And so right now I'm on dairy, goat, and chicken farming TikTok, and it's happy over there.
Amazing.
It's happy. It's happy. I'm very in.
It's happy time.
Very into.
It's a happy time.
I'm very into all the things you can make with goat milk, and I am like, I'm staying to buy own goat milk now. Goat cheese all the way.
You got eggnog and goat's milk. You know what that's from?
No, I don't.
It's from Mad TV, the Kenny Rogers.
Oh,
you've never seen that?
No.
Oh my god, girl! Like, no. How are we?
Oh my god. Yeah, so I think that's what you can also filter your comments. Like you can type in words that you don't want to see in your comments, and it'll filter those out. But I think the biggest one is just the simple, straightforward. Don't compare yourself to others.
Well, because you're not comparing yourself to anything that's like fully real. Like, I'm sure there's people that post things that's authentic and genuine, and they don't edit your photos. I'm not saying that that's something that everyone does, but majority of it, it's all curated for social media. Do you know what I mean? So it's not always as real as
people are going to post like their best foot forward. They're going to show like the highlights. They're not going to show the low parts. And so you're not always getting like the whole story when it comes to ingesting other people's content. And also with the influencers too, like, you don't actually know them, and you don't know what they've been through or what they're going through at that time. And so you really just can't always compare yourself, because you don't know the whole story. And that's a big thing of it, because sometimes what's being shown on camera is completely different than what's happening in reality.
Exactly. And here's the thing too, is that comparing yourself to influencers, like their homes, their belongings, their this and that, a lot of influencers will actually rent the spaces that they're filming in. So when you see somebody's home or somebody's kitchen or somebody's, even car, a lot of that stuff is, you can rent that. You can go to a space to film that. Like, I've done that for certain things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do want to say too, like, this last point is, if you are going to make content and try to be a content creator, I would stick with content that's going to make you happy. Because if you try to do content that you think is going to make other people happy, or you think is going to be what's more popular, and that blows up, you're going to be miserable, because you're going to be stuck in this thing that you don't like. And that's going to make you so burnt out and so miserable. And so if you're making content, just make sure that it's something that makes you happy. And not everyone needs to be a
I
content
agree.
creator either. Like, it's a fine to just ingest. You don't have to post. And if you are, just be very authentic to yourself. And I think that was a big move from like the Instagram to TikTok, is TikTok people are more authentic to themselves. But I'm seeing it trickle up, everyone's starting to be a little more authentic. And I think that makes it way easier to do. Right? Do you have anything else to add?
Wow, we really just no, I think we have it covered. I think that we covered all the ways to build a great relationship with social media.
Exactly. Here at the Blonde Hellies podcast, you can come to us for the resources.
Exactly. And you can just add us and we can just take up your feed. Like, we're a good time.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thanks for listening.
Okay, bye.